My name is Ilja Bereznickas. I'm born in Lithuania after the war in 1948. It's 3 years after the war is finished. And my parents, my mother and father, they born in a small shtetl in Lithuania. My mother from Molėtai and father from Vyšė. So, and in the war, the 95% of Jewish population was killed. The the biggest tragedy in the world was in Lithuania. And when they returned at home, nobody lived in this small shtetl. So they moved to Vilnius, and we lived on the small street in Vilnius, where lived just Polish, Jewish, and a couple Russian and a couple Lithuanians, because before the war, Vilnius belonged to Poland. So, and I started to draw make a lot of drawings, and they put me in art school, and I finished art school. I finished architecture in Kaunas, like engineer, architect, and after 15 years, I decided to change my profession to animation. I started to do animation films, and I graduated in Moscow in one of the biggest school in Europe of animation, and my teachers was, of course, Jewish people too. It was Nordstein, Yuri Nordstein, in one of the best animators in the world. Till now, he's #1 in the world, and Fyodor Hituk was my teachers, and it started big changes in our life, social life in Russia. Lithuania become independent, and I started to do some animation films in Lithuanian film studio. Then I moved for 2 years in Israel. Then I worked in Norway for a very big film. Was in Cannes Festival. This film. Then I moved. Then I lived 14 years. I lived in New York, and I worked in a very famous animator, Jacques Zander. He's one of the main directors was of Tom and Jerry. And I worked for his company. Then I made a lot of illustrations for different books. I teach in the School of Visual Art Animation. Life was enough. I moved a lot and I lived in different countries. So finally now I'm a professor. I returned to Lithuania. They invited me, after long years, they invited me to create a studio, animation school in Lithuania, in Art Academy. And I still live in Lithuania, but I'm moving. I'm trying to move a lot to Israel. I have a lot of friends in this business, like in Israel, in America, in France, in Norway. I got a prize from Norwegian. I got a prize. It was a surprise for me for the whole life achievement. They gave me a prize. So I asked. It was 5 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. I don't remember exactly, but I told, look, and I'm enough young. I playing soccer. I skiing. I changing wives. What now is for the life achievement, like end of the life. I said, no. You have to start from beginning now. No, start from beginning. I make this last movie. What has changed in my position, maybe like a creator of the cinema. So I started to do Jewish tema, first of all, the film which I made, it was a Jewish joke, anecdote, like by anecdote. It's taken for me last 3 years. I made 17 minutes animation film about the goal. Like goal is a Jewish animal.
Goat.
Yeah, goal.
Goat.
Goat, sorry, goat. Goat. Mistake. Goat. Yes. So, and during the process of this film, it came it came producer from Israel. His father was the same city like my mother, from Molėtai. Father was killed during the Holocaust, and he looked at me. First meeting was he looked at me. He said, "Ilja, you're looking exactly like my father." But it's from different city, because my mother from Molėtai, father from Vyšė. I said, maybe maybe he had been in Molėtai for a couple of days, I don't know. But it's real, he looked at me and he proposed me to make the animation for the film Holocaust, what happened in Holocaust in this Malete. In Malete was 3,000 population, 3,000 people, and from these 3,000, 2,000 was Jewish. You can imagine, in one day they killed 2,000 people, Nazis and some Lithuanians. They killed 2,000 people in one day. City become like empty city. And the main people which had factories, some small shops, and it was Jewish, of course. Also. So, and he gave me all the. But I told, look, I'm making the book is very funny, and he saw the sketches what I done for this book, and he told, we have not any documentary about what's happened in Lithuania, any films, no photos. Say it was idea you have to do animation about the Holocaust, and it was in the same time. From one part, I done the Jewish joke films by anecdote, and from another part, I had to do the Holocaust. And he gave me all the materials, what the documents from KGB, who was killed, all, and it was really very hard because, people like to live, who still left alive, you cannot stop to all times to think about the tragedy. You have to go forward. Because my parents, they never told me nothing what's happened. It was like a silent. They told, yes, something happened, something was killed, but nobody made accent on this. It was allowed to speak about it. Never on the cemeteries was written that here was killed Soviet people, not Jewish people, nothing, just Soviet people from Nazi. It's all what's written on the places, and it was maybe one or two memorial. It's all. But now in this, what is changed? When I started to make this Jewish film, after the film, some Lithuanians, my colleagues, they came to me, Ilja, you done what you're supposed to do. It's good.